Hello, independent artists. My name's Becky. Welcome to the Empowered Indie Artists YouTube channel and podcast. If you are a singer, perhaps you have tried to dive into the process of recording your own vocals to save money or just to expedite the process of producing your own music. And likely it's been overwhelming for you. So I thought today we could cover about 5 baby steps in learning how to produce your own vocals. And just for joining me here, I've got a free comping vocals cheat sheet. The link is in the description below. And you might be like, what the heck is comping? That is short for compiling. And if you didn't already know, once you go to the recording studio, you actually do multiple takes of the whole song almost always, like 99.9% of the time. And then you can compile your best takes into one cohesive take. Yes, it's cheating, totally cheating, but it's absolutely one of the common factors of vocal production today. And if you can get good at comping, that alone is something that you could easily learn to do. But it's like riding a bike or something. You have to really learn how to do it. You have to practice. You have to get better at it. But then once you're good at it, man, you can be zippy. So let's get to it. 5 baby steps in learning how to produce your own vocals. Step 1, practice a lot. I'm assuming you already have the recording software, which is your DAW, BandLab. I use Cakewalk by BandLab. There's Logic, there's Pro Tools, there's Cubase, there's a lot of them. And we're not going to get into that today, but I'm assuming you have your DAW ready to go and all of your equipment, your microphone, your audio interface, the cables, your headphones, all of that you should have. So if you already have this gear and you're at that point where, okay, yes, I can get sound, I know how to record, guess what you get to do now? Practice, 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 practice. You can plop any kind of instrumental in your DAW and just practice recording as if you're doing a real recording session. The more you practice doing this, the easier it's going to get and the better you're going to get. Because as you know, singing a song live for an audience is much different than actually recording in the studio. Baby step number 2, practice comping. This was already covered in my introduction. Compiling your vocal takes is something that you can definitely get really fast at, but it does take practice. I think of it as like learning how to play your scales on the piano, or even vocal exercises like something that will help you learn how to sing riffs. At first, you're probably going to be really slow at it. And then the more you do it and you concentrate on fluidity and your technique, everything starts to get smoother and faster. It's the same with comping, but you do need to practice doing it. You're not going to get fast at it by doing it once every year. The third baby step, practice tuning. Now, I use Melodyne, and this is not a sponsored video at all, but I have found that Melodyne is not just the tuning tool that I use, but it's great for you can minimize breaths, you can maximize, like if there's a low vocal moment where the singer goes low or your voice goes low and the volume drops, but you want to keep that same tone and everything, you can literally syllable by syllable adjust the volume of each. I call them blobs because that's what they call them. They're blobs, but picture a syllable as a waveform. You can go in and adjust the volume. You can adjust the tonality of it if you want. And sometimes this is how you can get creative and have fun. I use Melodyne not just for like fixing things, but actually for doing fun things, creating alternate vocal lines, or like I call it an alt vocal, which is all over the place in pop production, where it sounds like a voice, but it kind of sounds like maybe it's chipmunky, or the opposite, where it's like a little bit of a demon, but not really. I use Melodyne for a lot of that stuff. And my favorite tool of all is the timing, where it used to take sometimes, especially if you're stacking lots and lots of singers, You might have to have a singer do something 20 times to get the timing just right. And guess what? Now I can just go blip with Melodyne and fix the timing. It's a great tool. And the only way to get good at using a tool such as Melodyne is by practicing. So start practicing tuning using your tool of choice to get the sound that you want. If you are of a certain genre, you might want the tuning sound to be really hard and very obvious. But if you're doing other genres, you might not. You might want to disguise that tuning as much as possible and even use it as minimally as possible, only on a absolutely have to basis. Number 4, practice mixing. Now, mixing can be intimidating if you are first looking at all of the fun plugins and everything, EQ and compression. But if you're working in a DAW like GarageBand or any of them really, they all have things called the plugins, but they all have presets. So, for example, if we look at my DAW right here, I can say, I'm going to insert Audio FX, which that is where you're going to find all of your fun mixing tools. And if I just go down to EQ, I'm going to see all of the EQ options that I have, some which are third party, so they didn't come with my DAW, but there are some that came with my DAW. And I happen to know this one comes with my DAW, Sonidas Equalizer. And inside the presets, there's already some options. Let me show you a different one that has more fun things. Oh, yeah. So this one has a ton of presets, and they're all based on the instrument that you're looking at. Some of them have the name of the famous mix engineer, but it's okay to go ahead and start out using presets. There is no shame, especially when you're learning and you're first getting started. You don't even have to tell anyone. Probably people wouldn't know. But this is how you can start learning. So you pick, I don't know, any of these backing box. And now you can see where it's adjusted. And as you learn how all of these buttons and knobs work, now you can make little adjustments. Now, if you're not really sure, you can play with it and see what it does. Like, oh, what happens if I twist this knob or twist this knob? Then you start to learn how, this is what I call hands-on learning. You start to learn how to mix by playing around with it. I think it's really fun. It's kind of like being a kid in a candy store, like in a, sandbox where really it's just your creativity. And as long as you're approaching it with the thought of, I'm here to learn, I'm just going to see what these things do, then just have fun with it. Absolutely. Baby step number 5 is to try to recreate a vocal effect that you've heard. And chances are there's someone on YouTube, if it's a famous enough song, there's someone on YouTube who has already either found out directly from the person who mixed it, or they've figured out exactly how to recreate it. So you could say, well, how do you recreate that vocal reverse? It sounds like the vocal is going backwards. How do I recreate that? Just search YouTube and you're going to find it. But if you just pick one thing at a time, what that's going to do is, first of all, you're going to start building your arsenal of cool effects you can do, but you're going to learn different things about mixing and about your DAW and about recording along the way. I hope these baby steps really helped you. Please let me know in the comments, what are some other things that you've struggled with as you've tried to learn how to produce, record, edit, mix your own vocals. And be sure to grab your freebie. Until next time, have a great day.